Happy Monday, 9 o'clock.
Yes.
Here on The Big Picture. Thanks for joining us. Back off the weekend.
Yes, start of another work week, Collin. We're here. We're going to do it.
And it's a wet
It's
start to the
really
week.
gross outside.
Yeah,
and it
not
was,
great.
I mean, I actually woke up last night from the storms. First time. I know I always sleep through that stuff.
That is
so.
absolutely a shocker. It woke me up. And I was like, no. Because I didn't pay attention. I thought they were all today. But nope.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then obviously you probably heard it. We got some more storms, or not storms, but rain.
Oh, yeah.
Just a few
can
minutes
hear
ago.
it.
But yeah, it's been a wet morning for Toledo and Detroit as well. But yeah, Justin Gertz is going to come hang out with us in a bit to talk about that.
Let's get a look at our headlines
Yeah.
for today. There was a huge church fire on Sullivan Avenue. We're going to dive into that. It's a total loss from the images that we're seeing as the sun started to rise this morning. CAPA fall events. They're coming in to preview what's going on in the theater world this fall.
A lot of
fun,
good stuff coming to
a lot of fun
CAPA.
stuff. And then we have Rochelle Aline, our investigative reporter, joining us to talk about service dogs that were trained
To work in the prison system.
Yeah.
It's a really fascinating story and some great background of how that's being used in the rehabilitation side of the ODRC.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's
love
a cool one.
dogs. We love
But-
dogs here. We love all
Yeah.
animals here.
Right.
Well, did you have a good weekend, Collin?
I did. Oh, thought we were transitioning.
Oh.
But never mind. But yes, I had a great
I'm
weekend.
just trying to burn through some time
that's
this
true.
morning.
I did. We went and saw The Odyssey.
Oh, yeah.
It took
Thoughts.
a while to go see that. It was actually really good. It was an interesting take on a book I haven't read since middle school.
Right.
But it was so well done. It did not feel like a 3-hour movie. That was my biggest concern, I think, of the whole thing was like, oh my God, I'm going to be in a theater for 3
Okay.
hours.
Now, I have a question to ask you. Remember how we've talked about iPhone face?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you feel like Charlize Theron, who was Calypso, had iPhone face?
Yes.
Yeah. Mhm.
And
what about Zendaya?
Zendaya did.
Okay.
I felt Helen's sister did.
Yeah.
Like
For those who are watching, iPhone face is like you have the face of someone from this
yeah,
century.
you're over and overdone up.
Yeah.
But Anne Hathaway was great.
She looked incredible.
She did.
I love her.
But moral of that whole story is, in the words of TLC, don't go chasing waterfalls. Just stick to the rivers and lakes that you used to.
Okay.
Don't venture out on something.
Yeah.
Just follow what you know.
You just
but
had to.
It's a great allegory of we will destroy ourselves.
Yes,
okay. It was a great movie. Great movie. Go see it. But yeah.
Yeah, good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, shout out to my mom. It was her birthday on the weekend, so we celebrated
Love
that. She loves watching us, so love you, Mom. Happy birthday. Okay, let's get to the hard news of the day. So
Yeah.
it was around like 4:30 we got the reports of this roof is going to collapse at this church fire on Sullivan Avenue.
Way out on the west side.
Yeah, and this was at Cherry Creek Church of Christ. So again, this was happening on Sullivan Avenue. We could hear on the the calls for help. I mean, huge response from Columbus Fire. It was a very defensive fire. And listening back to some of the sound we got this morning, the flames were 30 to 40 feet high. I mean, look at these images. It just horrible.
Yeah, and this did take a large response. I know at one point we knew there were 17 or 18 different Columbus fire units on scene. Obviously, you can see they were spraying from ladder trucks. This is out there kind of in the Cherry Creek community over on the far west side. We did a little digging into that church's background because there was some some
it's been around for a while.
Right, because we were kind of unsure, was it still an active congregation, which we did learn that they still are.
Right, yeah. They're only open on Sundays and Wednesdays from the research I was doing. We do know that from, I think he's a sergeant, Bryant Barnhart. He said that there were people in the church at 12:30. He wasn't able to specify whether that was AM or PM, but he said there were people in the church, I'm assuming on Sunday.
Right.
So I believe that there were still they were still actively doing something inside of that church. But what I found was interesting was, since 1987, it said that this church was tax exempt because it was a religious organization. But I did find there were new documents from the Secretary of State's office that show that the church filed a new incorporation paperwork just this February. And then by June, its longtime domain, so website, that had expired. So their website hasn't been updated. Their Facebook page, I mean, the last post was from June of 2012.
It's been a few years.
Yeah, it's been a few years. So still a lot of questions about what exactly was, I guess, taking place at that church leading up to this fire this morning. But seems like maybe they were going through some organizational changes. So yeah, I'm sure we'll learn more about that
But here's what
later today.
Battalion Chief Brian Barnhart had to say.
In the attic spaces for a while and take time, and with no one being here at the church, slowly start to build, and by the time it actually shows itself, it'll be like this, where it's completely through the roof.
Okay, so that was Sergeant Barnhart, and he said that they believe initially that this fire could have started from a lightning strike. We obviously had severe weather over the weekend, and he was in that soundbite. He was describing that sometimes when a lightning strike fire ignites, it smolders for a while up in attics where it's kind of condensed, and then you don't realize there's a fire until you start to see the flames, which can happen a while after the fact that the lightning has struck. So joining us right now, we have our meteorologist, Justin Gertz. What is your reaction to hearing this was possibly, 30 to 40 feet flames? I mean, we saw it all morning how big the impact was, but all from a lightning strike.
Yeah, and I was actually looking back because I know that there was pretty electrical storms last night, and we have lightning data, and went back and looked in between the 10 and 11 o'clock hour. During the 10 o'clock hour, there were a couple of strikes that showed up pretty close to the church. So if you consider, maybe the lightning data isn't that exact spot, but it could be off by, let's say, 500 or 1,000 feet, that would do it. I mean, it was close enough that that would not be at all shocking if that were the case, that if it were a lightning strike, there's data to support that, there were a couple of close strikes that may have been what did it.
Wow. And I woke up in the middle of the night from all the rain that we got, but we're still hearing more rain today. What's in store the rest of today and the rest of this week?
So we're seeing a few little spotty showers and storms this morning. In fact, we had just in the past 30 minutes or so, a little thunderstorm develop on the northwest side of the Columbus metro. It's not severe. It's rolling off toward the east. Brief downpour with that on the north side of town. Most of the day, we're going to be fairly quiet, but later on today, especially I think this evening and into the overnight hours, we'll see some scattered thunderstorms develop, and then we'll see additional rounds probably early tomorrow, then again tomorrow evening into tomorrow night, and any of those could produce locally heavy rain, gusty winds in particular. Can't rule out perhaps a brief tornado, perhaps hail, but the main things we're watching for are wind and heavy rain. And the tricky thing with this is each round will affect what the next round does. So if things are shifted by an hour or off by 50 miles, that could throw off or change the next round that comes through. So just the general gist here is there will be occasional rounds of rain and storms. Any of them could be strong to severe. Any of them could produce locally heavy rain, which could lead to flash flooding, as well as gusty winds. And I think tomorrow is probably going to be the more active day in the state compared to today.
Okay, so brace ourselves.
Be ready for it.
Okay.
And then we're looking at rain pretty much chances the rest of the week.
Yeah, looks like Wednesday we'll still see some rain and thunderstorms around. Looks like the odds, though, of anything severe are going to be greatly diminished here locally. And then perhaps a few showers still hanging on into Thursday. And then we should be quite a bit drier to finish off the week. But yeah, kind of an unsettled week for sure. But the most active part is later today and tomorrow in particular.
Okay. Well, Justin, thank you for coming in today. Welcome back from vacation.
Yes, good to be back.
We're happy to have you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we have Tyvis Powell joining us coming up right after the break, so we'll be back in 2 minutes.
I'm Tracy Townsend, anchor at 10 TV News This Morning. My goal is simple: help you feel informed and connected. Because when news moves fast, you need a team that moves with you. Make the move to 10 TV News This Morning, weekdays from 5 to 9, anywhere you watch.
Big Picture 9/11 on your Monday morning. Joining us right now, we have Tyvis Powell with 97.1 The Fan.
How y'all doing? I missed you guys.
Yeah, you got some time.
I didn't get to see y'all Friday.
How was your Friday? How was your weekend?
The Friday I was out at training camp. Obviously, we was doing the broadcast out there. Buckeyes looked great. The weekend was good. I left that, and then next day went to the Browns to watch their training camp. So it's just been football.
Yeah.
Right.
How was training camp?
Yeah.
Which one? The Browns?
Actually, I'm curious about the Buckeyes. I want to know more about the Buckeyes. We'll get to the Browns and the Bengals in a bit. But anything out of training camp that surprised you? And one, one? Did you miss it?
The first one, no.
Ah.
No. Do I miss it? Not training camp. I miss football, but I don't miss training camp. Training camp, ooh-wee. Especially when you get to like the second week, that's when it gets rough. What stood out to me was the first couple of days when Legend Bay wasn't out there. That was like, whoa, y'all talked about this guy who was being very special from spring ball. Y'all he's wearing number 2, and then another thing that surprised me was Bo Jackson was running with the 2s. This is a guy who was the starter last year that had a really good season as a true freshman. So to see him with the 2s was like, whoa. So that running back room is very interesting right now. I don't know what's going on, if there's a method to the madness, but I guess we'll have to see how, when camp keeps going on, who elevates himself. But Isaiah West looked really good. He was starting with the ones for the couple of days that I was out there. Jay Timmons, the corner freshman, he's playing some nickel. The nickel spot is wide open, and he looked like he might be able to fill it. So that's a young guy that's coming in. His father's Lawrence Timmons, who played for the Steelers, played linebacker for the Steelers. So it's in his DNA to be a really good defender. He's transitioning really well from high school to college.
All right, let's go up to Cleveland.
All right,
What
so
were your biggest
listen,
takeaways?
when I watch Cleveland, I got to watch a camp fight. Jared Verse versus Spencer Fano fought, and it was so funny because Jared Verse has been terrorizing Spencer Fano this entire camp. I mean, he's really made him look bad at time, and I guess Spencer had enough. Now, you got to remember, they practiced 6 days in a row, and this was the last day before they off. They was off on Sunday, so Saturday was like the last day of camp, and when you get to that point, you get a little fed up, you get a little sick of going up against the same guys. It gets annoying after a while. Well, Spencer and him ended up getting into this fight where they slammed each other to the ground. And what I liked about it was they got right up, took the next rep, and went right back to work. Ty Mungan didn't pull nobody out of practice. They just went right back to work, and they ended up having a good day. I think the Browns team, for them to have some young pieces, I think that they're doing a really good job of developing right before our eyes. I think the team is really good. I think they got some really good pieces there. Obviously, everybody's attention goes to the quarterback, and that's what football ultimately comes down to. Do you have the quarterback? And I think that battle is back and forth. I think that for a long period of time, I thought Shador was winning it because he was very consistent. Deshaun was throwing a lot of interceptions. And this past week, I'd say about 3 or 4 day stretch, Deshaun has put it together where he's looked really good in those 4 days. And the controversy was they were going back and forth. So one day Shador will be with the ones, the next day Deshaun will be with the ones. Well, for the first time, they broke that code. They let Deshaun go back-to-back days, and it caused this big rift up there. And I thought Shador responded well. He was with the 2s, but he was throwing a really good football and all those things. But right now, it seems like Deshaun Watson is in the lead for that job.
Okay, and then looking at my notes, Joe Burrow wrapped in bubble wrap.
Yeah. So we know Joe Burrow has a very long injury history. And when it comes to Cincinnati, if he's healthy, Cincinnati got a chance to win the division. They can be right there in the championship game. All those things is there. It ultimately comes down to the health of Joe Burrow and if that defense is for real. I think that when you watch what you've seen in camp, you see that Dexter Lawrence is be really good. You see some of the pieces that they brought in is gelling really well. Now that the preseason games is here, we'll get to see them against other teams. But if that defense is as good as I think that they can be, which what I've seen from clips, they look really good, then it ultimately comes down to the health of Joe Burrow because that defense has been holding them back for many, many years, and Joe Burrow being hurt also holds them back. So if Joe Burrow is healthy, this team probably can go to the Super Bowl and potentially win it.
Whoa, hot take.
Yeah.
And it's not even Tuesday.
Yeah, they are that good. Yes.
Awesome. Well, there was the Hall of Fame inductees as well.
Yes.
What were some of your biggest takeaways from those speeches?
Well, I love Larry Fitzgerald's speech. I thought his was more on a serious note. I love the fact that he shouted out Chris Carter, said that they can put it to rest, that he got better hands than Chris Carter, and they had a good laugh about that one. I love the fact that he paid homage to Randy Moss, said he always looked up to Randy Moss and people asked him, what did he take away from Randy Moss's game? And he said, nothing, because he's a freak of nature. You can't do nothing that Randy Moss did. So it was a nice speech there. Adam Vinatieri had a funny jab at Bill Belichick talking about that, because Bill obviously didn't show up to the ceremony. He's at North Carolina, but he said the real reason that Bill Belichick didn't show up was because he has to judge his girlfriend's cheerleading contest.
That's crazy. He looped him into it like that.
I love the fact that all these former players be taking these jabs at Bill, and Bill must be a real jokester behind the scenes.
I know.
Because
he puts on such like a
I think
face.
behind the scenes he is probably a funny guy, because there's no way that these players continuously take these jabs and just think that that's okay.
Right.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
they gotta have had that relationship. So it's funny to see the players do that.
Yeah. Alrighty. Cool.
Any insights on a Hot Take Tuesday for tomorrow?
I had a hot take and I can't remember what it was.
Well, you just said the Bengals are going to win the Super Bowl.
I said if everybody's healthy, if Joe Burrow stays healthy, they will be in it for sure. 100%. They will be. They will make the AFC Championship game.
Ooh.
Take it to the bank.
Okay.
So listen to 97.1 The Fan for more on that tomorrow morning. All right, Tyvis.
Alrighty.
Thanks so much. Coming up next, we are talking with Bankrate over a new kind of report. When it comes to being 55 and older, it may cost you more to refinance your house. We're back.
The 10 TV Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the news you need. 10 TV Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
All right, welcome back to The Big Picture 922 on your Monday.
It is Monday.
Yes. I'm Collin. She's Bryn. Right now, we are joined by Jim Fisher with CAPA. Jim, thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me down. We appreciate it.
Exciting time for CAPA coming into the fall season.
Yeah, so summertime is a busy time for us. We have a lot of big projects usually that happen, and then, of course, we're getting ready for our fall seasons that are obviously on their way. This week is the last week for the summer movie series at the Ohio Theater. That's always a fan favorite. We've been doing that for 56, 57, 58 years, something like that. So it's just a real blast. And like I said, we're wrapping that up and getting ready for the fall.
Absolutely. I got your email about the Blair Witch Project.
Oh, right.
Talk back that you're doing. So what are kind of the spooky, fun Halloween things that people can look forward to this coming October?
One of the real exciting things that we do every year is called CAPA Haunts. It's a free event at the Palace Theater. You can come with your family. You come in costume. It's like a trick-or-treat kind of an event, but you go through the halls and into the theater at the Palace. A lot of our resident arts groups will have booths set up for activities, and it's spooky, but it's not spooky, right? It's for families, it's for kids, and it's a real fun event. It's tied this year to the Palace's 100th birthday, which we're celebrating in 2026.
I did not know the Palace Theater is turning 100.
Absolutely. This year, the Palace is turning
exciting.
100, so that's part of our fall programming that we have tied to the 100th anniversary this year.
Okay, that's exciting. 100 years. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
absolutely. So we've got that. We'll have some free community days as well. So people we'll have tours of the theater, activities. We'll be asking people to sort of share stories and memories from their families over the years. We really want to sort of say thank you to the community for keeping the Palace going for 100 years and allowing us to have this celebration, this centennial. It's really great. And then in November, and details are still in the works, but it's going to be a really big signature event with some names that people will recognize that will be on the stage in the Palace. And we'll sort of, again, that will be the cap off for that celebration.
Wow, awesome. And so looking ahead to this fall as well, are there any shows happening with CAPA that will surprise people?
Oh, there's a new thing that we're involved with this year, and it's actually coming up at the end of August. That's with Nina West. And she's
the comedy show?
Yes,
this looks
absolutely.
so much fun.
It's just too much fun. So it's part of the Columbus Comedy Fest, and we're always partnering with them to do an event during that Comedy Fest. But this is the first time that we've had this program with Nina. And so she's hosting, and it's a slate of comics. And it's just going to be a blast. So that's something that's new. We've not done that before. We've done the comedy thing before, but not with Nina. So this is going to be really, really fun.
What goes in?
Oh, go ahead.
What goes into building a new season?
Yeah, we got away from having a season per se a few years ago. Each one of our resident arts groups has a season, right? The symphony and the ballet and all the opera and all of the other arts groups that use CAPA theaters that are partners with us in bringing great art to Central Ohio, have a season. But CAPA itself, because we're constantly booking shows, right? So it's hard to announce, say, in August what our season is, when in October we're going to be booking new shows.
Oh wow!
Still,
It's that it happens that fast.
So we're just our programming department is constantly programming. They're constantly in communication with tours, and they're just ready to bring an artist to Columbus at the drop of a hat. So, yeah, I mean, we have shows that have already been announced for the season, but again, not really a season announcement per se.
Yeah, and something else that just caught my eye, the Wind Down event. What is that?
Oh, so we do every summer at the Lincoln Theater on the rooftop. There's a bar up there, and they set up a little performance space, and the Wind Down Wednesdays is a thing that happens once a month through the summer. So I think there's one more. I'm not 100% sure the date in August, but you can check that out at Lincoln Theater. LincolnTheaterAssociation.com and find out the dates for that, or CAPA.com. You can check that one out too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And ticket information, should people get them sooner rather than later?
Always get your tickets sooner. We're announcing our Broadway show, or not announcing, we've announced our Broadway shows, but they're beginning to go on sale to non-subscribers. So keep your eye out on CAPA.com for that as well. And when those go on sale, you'll want to get those right away. That's another thing that obviously is happening right now that we're getting ready for, this happening in the fall.
What are some of the big hitter Broadway shows that are coming?
You know, we've got Wicked in this season. We've got Beauty and the Beast in this season for Disney fans. And that's, if you've never seen Beauty and the Beast on stage, the choreography that they've added for the live show. And again, the show's been around for, 20, 25 years probably, but it's just so different from the animated movie that you remember and you've seen 100 times. So if you've never seen that, you definitely want to check that out. But we opened the season with Death Becomes Her, which is an adaptation.
We want to see that.
It's an adaptation of the movie that everybody remembers probably from the 80s. So
I want to see that
that's going to be really, really fun. And then we have an interesting show called Maybe Happy Ending that it is a lovely show. There's beautiful music in it. The story is interesting, but it has some futuristic, almost AI kind of elements to it. And I don't want to give away too much. You're going to have to look up Maybe Happy Ending on your own at CAPA.com and find out a little bit more, or check it out. There's clips that you can watch. But it's just a really, really lovely show, a really, really sweet show. But it has some interesting sort of elements that you maybe don't normally get when you come to the theater.
Okay, a wide variety. Awesome.
Absolutely, a wide variety.
Jim, thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah, it was my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right.
We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back.
I'm Yolanda Harris. I'm a journalist at 10 TV News. I don't just report about our community, I belong to it. And that's why we care so deeply about getting it right. And when local journalism is done right, it moves. It moves you to act, to verify, to volunteer. And yes, it moves your heart through the kind of human storytelling that stays with you wherever you are. And at 10 TV, we're here for all of it. These are the stories that move Central Ohio.
At this Fairfield County prison, we found a graduation ceremony of sorts. But instead of caps and gowns, there were leashes, vests, and a ceremonial handoff of two soon-to-be service dogs who just completed a year of training with inmates.
I truly believe that every dog ends up exactly where they need to be.
Adrina Spracker is the program director for Canine Companions in New Albany. They're a nonprofit that's been training service dogs for decades. She says this is their second year partnering with the Southeastern Correctional Institution for this program where inmates teach dogs basic commands for up to a year.
But they're teaching other things like how to be quiet in the kennel, how to just, be fine doing nothing for a little bit, just being at an under a table while we're eating, or the typical basic commands: sit, shake, down.
Once the dogs graduate, they get specialized service dog training from staff with Canine Companions, and then they're paired with their forever home. It's work that Sandy Siegel has seen the benefit of up close after his late wife Pauline was diagnosed with a rare autoimmune condition.
Totally healthy 35-year-old who became paralyzed really overnight.
Sandy says Pauline's service dog, Keizu, came from a similar prison program. And he said Keizu not only helped her in the classroom as she taught kindergarten, but he also healed her in ways that traditional medicine could not.
Becoming paralyzed creates much more than physical problems for a person, and he loved her unconditionally, accepted her the way she was.
In Fairfield County, Rochelle Aline, 10 TV News.
All right, joining us right now, we have Rochelle.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for coming on here. Tell us more about how this story came on your radar. It's so sweet.
So I've done a few stories with Canine Companions, and they told us, they've been training service dogs, I think, since the 70s. So they've been doing this for a long time. But they told me that they had this newer program where they were taking some of their dogs into prisons and having prisoners train them, doing kind of like a first round of training before they take them on and give them that specialized service dog training. And I was like, what in the world?
Yeah.
I want to know more about this program. Prisoners training service dogs, what's going on? That's how we got to that.
Yeah, that is wild. What was the feedback from the experience that the prisoners had training these dogs?
They said it's twofold, right? I mean, they're obviously putting in work. The one gentleman that I spoke to, we didn't get a chance to feature him. He said it was kind of his way to give back. Obviously, he's in prison for a reason, right? And there's a lot of work he's doing on himself. And he said this was a way that he could give back to the community after taking from the community and ultimately ending up in prison, right? On the other end, when I asked Canine Companions, but why prison? Don't you have people outside of prison that can train the dogs? They actually said the scheduling that's in prison is good for the dogs because they have the same schedule every day. They wake up, they do kind of the same things. That regularity for the puppies is actually really good. It helps to socialize them. They're teaching them basic commands, and the lack of, I guess, for lack of better words, novelty in their schedule is actually helpful for giving those dogs kind of a foundation before they get that specialized service dog training.
And obviously these people are in prison.
Yeah.
But, working with the dog might help them a little bit.
And we know,
emotionally.
ODRC is rehabilitation and correction.
Correct.
So how does this play a part in that first word, that rehabilitation aspect?
This is through an anecdote, but I spoke to the leader of Canine Companions, and she told me that one gentleman told her this was the first time in his life, and this is a grown man, I think in his 40s, that he had the opportunity to love on something unconditionally in his entire life.
Aww.
And just like the rewiring that does to your brain.
Right.
Again, these are people
Right.
that are, again, incarcerated for a reason. And just by having this interaction with an animal that's loving you unconditionally, that's relying on you for its basic needs, that you have to put in the work to earn their trust, it's doing something for them as well. So again, they're giving back, but they're getting something back from these dogs.
I believe in the power of loving animals.
Yeah.
I love it so much. But moving forward with this program, obviously it's been successful.
Yeah.
What are their plans for the future? Do they want to keep it going?
Absolutely. I mean, they have 2 that just graduated. That was on my story, but they handed off 2 and then gave those guys that trained those 2 dogs that graduated 2 new puppies. So they're keeping the program going. So I think they have a total of 9 puppies right now at Southeastern Correctional Institution. I do think they want to expand to other prisons potentially and kind of grow this program to other institutions, but it seems to be going really well. And again, I think if you've never heard of it, it's kind of like, what in the world? But when they explained it, they were like, again, these are people that it's almost like community service for them. It's healing for them. And again, that regularity is helpful for the dog itself because you have to think about it. If you have a service dog, that dog has to be comfortable with repetition, with doing a job over and over and over and not being distracted. And if they have that foundation where they're in prison as a puppy and they're not distracted by the novelty
By
of like,
that,
right,
yeah.
by being in a
Pretty
house or
distracting.
doing all these different things, but you're kind of in the same place, same environment, same people over and over for maybe the first year of your life, it does something to help prepare them for the work they're going to be doing when they're older.
Oh, such a great program.
Yeah, I love it.
I love it. Let's get cats in the prisons next. Sound like a good idea? Anyone? The three of us? Okay. I'll work on it.
Yeah. All right. Rochelle, thanks so much.
Of course.
All right. Coming up next, we are getting to that Bankrate interview, talking about how different age groups are affected by the complexities of homeownership.
I'm Bryn Albizu, traffic anchor for 10 TV News this morning. My mission is simple, to help you get to where you're going quickly and safely. Because when your morning's on the move, so are we. Make the move to 10 TV News this morning, anywhere you watch.
All right, welcome back to The Big Picture. We're talking about the complexities of home ownership. Collin said something one time that stuck with me. So you said owning a home is a constant battle against water.
Yes, you're always fighting water.
Always fighting water. But, a lot of people have been looking at the options of refinancing their mortgages, and that just kind of happens as time goes on. And joining us right now, we have Linda Bell. She is a home lending expert with Bankrate. Linda, thank you so much for joining us. I know we had some technical difficulties earlier, but you're with us via phone.
Yes, I am. So happy to be with you.
Awesome.
So, Linda, tell us, you kind of took a look into some of the issues that maybe older Americans are facing when it comes to navigating the home financing world. First, explain to me kind of what is this seniority tax that you found and how much could it be costing older homeowners?
Yeah, what we found, this Bankrate research that we did, found that borrowers 55 and older, they're more likely than younger ones to refinance into higher cost loans than their financial profiles allowed them to. And what this basically means is that they're facing what we're calling the seniority tax. They're overpaying for their mortgages, refinance mortgages at an 81% rate. That's higher than any other group. And the dollars and cents impact of this is big. More than $2,000 a year and more than $52,000 over the life of a 30-year loan. This can really make a big difference, especially for those in retirement and especially in this tough economy.
Yeah, why are homeowners 55 and older, potentially paying more to refinance, even though a lot of them have strong credit?
Yeah, see, that's the dichotomy that we looked at, right? Older homeowners are attractive. That's the main thing. They're attractive because of a numbers game. They typically have built significant equity, have strong credit, and a long history of making payments. And the big reason is what we're seeing now in the housing market. The housing market is sluggish, unfortunately, but you have the lenders pressing these loan officers, pressuring them to find new business. And refinancing is one of those key ways that they can generate revenue. And they're really trying to prioritize these loans, selling these loans over what is in people's best interests. And seniors, unfortunately, are at the short end of the stick.
And we know when it comes to, really any industry anywhere, that there can be some people with some not so great business tactics. And we know that, for example, the home lending field can have some pretty aggressive sales tactics, especially targeting older homeowners. What are some of the things that families should look out for, whether that be helping their parents or they're doing this themselves?
Well, we spoke with one lender in the business who said that she remembers a senior coming into her office, showing her a mailer saying, hey, I got this letter saying, why don't I refinance? And I'm interested in finding out more. But what they can do, these lenders that are maybe not totally on the up and up, they can find your public records and see that you have a loan with, let's say, Chase Mortgage. And then they could say, hey, refinance your loan with Chase Mortgage. While that technically is not lying, because they see that you have a mortgage with Chase, it makes the person think, oh, this is Chase. This mailer is from Chase. So sometimes, lenders can do things like that. That could be less, not really on the up and up. So I would say the main thing to do is kind of pause, step back, and say, hey, I got this mailer from this lender. Let me call the number that I know, the number I get on my monthly mortgage payment correspondence, and kind of go from there instead of kind of taking what you receive in the mail at face value.
And how can someone tell whether refinancing will actually save them money versus simply lowering their monthly payment but costing them more long term?
I would say we have some great resources on our website, our Bankrate website, that shows you how to break down things and look at what we call the break even. And that's when the cost of the loan, when you could realize the savings more so than the cost of the loan, because refinancing is essentially replacing your mortgage with a new one. So you're going to have to pay costs, right? So it's not just the mortgage rate. Don't just look at whatever rate they offer you. But we say that definitely by 0.75 to 1 percentage point, if you can lower that rate by that much, it typically will make sense. But if you're planning to move within the next few months, it definitely doesn't make sense. But definitely calculate your break-even point to make sure that the costs outweigh the benefits, rather, outweigh the costs.
And, this is not a fast decision to make. There's a lot to balance out. When it comes to sitting down at that dinner table, crunching the numbers, what are 2 or 3 things that you should really focus on when it comes to making that decision of, should I refinance now? Should I wait later? Is it worth it at all?
Yeah, it can be worth it for anybody and for everybody, especially if you are kind of crunched by your monthly payments and maybe they're too much for you, and you can lower that rate by, like I said, 0.75 to 1 percentage point. That's definitely a way to see if it makes sense. But then again, don't just look at the mortgage rate. Look at the total cost of the loan, and that in the industry speak, that the APR, that total cost of the loan. Because just because you lower that rate by, let's say, 1 percentage point, if it doesn't make sense for you and for your finances, nobody knows that better than you. So if a lender comes to you and say, hey, Linda, refinance now, you can lower your rate by this, you have to say, okay, they don't know if you have extra costs. They don't know if you're financing your child to go to college. They don't know all these extra costs that you may have. So definitely crunch the numbers, use our resources on the website to really make sure that it makes sense for you. And especially, I would add, if you're a senior and you're not totally comfortable with the process, or anybody who's not comfortable with the refinance or mortgage process, bring somebody in with you, a trusted friend, a family member, to kind of guide you through the process, and they can help you, navigate this. It can be very confusing for anybody.
Definitely.
And it could be even more so for a senior.
All right, Linda, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.
All righty. Very good tips there. Obviously, you can go to bankrate.com to find out more information and learn more about their resources, because they have a lot on there.
Yes.
If you haven't looked. All right, we're going to take a quick break to wrap up our show for this Monday morning. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
I'm Yolanda Harris. I'm a journalist at 10 TV News. I don't just report about our community, I belong to it. And that's why we care so deeply about getting it right. And when local journalism is done right, it moves. It moves you to act, to verify, to volunteer. And yes, it moves your heart through the kind of human storytelling that stays with you wherever you are. And at 10 TV, we're here for all of it. These are the stories that move Central Ohio.
Welcome back to The Big Picture, 9:53. I'm Bryn, this is Collin, and this is one of my favorite days, Collin, because it's National Lazy Day.
Oh,
where everyone.
It's a great day for it,
Yes,
too.
it's rainy. It's the perfect weather to stay home, turn on a movie, and be lazy. So anyway, this national holiday encourages everyone to take a break, relax, and do nothing productive. Pretty cool.
I
like it. You don't have to ask me
okay
twice.
with that.
Alrighty,
Yeah,
let's get to
yeah.
some really. Did it download? We
yes,
got
it is.
Okay,
yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
really pretty video. This just caught my eye because it was just so beautiful on CBS. Hundreds of brightly colored kites filled the skies in Sri Lanka for their Colombo biggest country international kite festival. Oh, I love it. I have not flown a kite in how many years? I don't even
remember
know.
doing it, doing stuff like in Boy Scouts and stuff where we had to build kites and stuff. And they're fun. I think they're beautiful.
I think they're so cool. So there were around 80 international kite flyers from 30 countries, and more than 1,500 local participants joined the event. So
Wow.
beautiful.
That's
there's so
fun.
many different iterations of kites as well. Look at that
Right,
one.
right.
What is
They're
that?
more
I
than
don't
this,
know.
your diamond kite.
Yeah. And you got to have some upper body strength too. 'Cause
Yeah.
if the wind catches them, they're gone.
Oh, yeah. You will lose your kite. Or the string burn. If it starts pulling and then you grab it, then you end up with a string burn in your hand. But I don't know. Yeah.
Really cool. Okay, let's get to a weird story.
Oh, this one's so weird.
This is out of Australia.
Yeah,
so...
I heard this on the radio driving in.
That's funny that you heard it because I saw the headline and I was like, this is weird.
It is
Let's
so
talk about it.
Yeah.
So there was a body bag found in Australia. Obviously, you can see law enforcement officers.
Right.
They're responding to it because that is an alarming thing
Should
to
be a
find
little concerned.
on the side of the street. Well, after forensics did their job, they found out what was inside that body bag was actually a doll-like,
like a human-sized doll.
A human-sized doll that looked like a body, felt like a body, but really had no innards of a normal body.
Right.
Because it was a doll.
It was a full-size doll.
So creepy.
So, yeah.
Who would do that? What was the message?
Yeah.
Creepy.
Exactly. But it was, dumped in a dumped suitcase. So, like, it's somebody playing a sick joke. Has to be. But obviously
it was wearing
alarming.
Clothing. It had hair and a nose piercing.
Oh, interesting.
Yikes. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
2 members of the public, they were doing something near a dumpster.
They were just out on like a...
seeing it.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Don't like that.
Yes. And this was southwest of Sydney. So
the more you know.
That is so creepy though. You go to open it and you're like anticipating
people have weird
hobbies. A body, and then you're like, wait, it's a doll? It's a life-size doll? What the heck?
Yeah. So where do you even get a body bag?
Exactly. For a doll. I guess you could use
Amazon.
any body. Oh my gosh. What people choose to spend their money on, I guess.
Right. Teach their own.
Not us.
No.
Not us.
No.
All right. Well, back here locally, Twinsburg had their annual Twins Fest this past weekend. This is the largest annual gathering of twins in the entire world, drawing over 2,000 sets of twins and multiples each year. And the theme this year was 80s. So every twin is encouraged to dress alike, or if baby twins, dress the strollers up to match as well. Oh my gosh, it's just so funny. I love it. And basically, this festival goes all the way back to 1976. Actually, yes, 1976. That's when the first festival happened. But the roots of this festival go all the way back to 1819 when 2 identical twins, Moses and Aaron Wilcox, they bought land in the area. And they donated 6 acres for the town square, which is where the Twinsburg Fest happens. And obviously, they're twins. They named it Twinsburg. So kind of fun.
Yeah. I don't know. How many? Do you know a lot of twins?
I know a lot of twins.
Yeah.
My best friends growing up, they're identical twins. They've actually been to the fest, and it's so much fun.
It's always it's always interesting because to me is especially as kids, identical twins always look really, really alike.
Yeah.
As most of them get older, they do start to differentiate. But then there's some who look the same forever.
Well, remember we had those twins
and I can't ever tell them apart.
The twins on that the one brother donated his kidney to his other brother recently at OSU. They came on. It was a wonderful interview. But they were luckily wearing different color shirts.
Because I couldn't keep them straight with the little names.
I know.
Oh no.
They were like, should we be wearing matching shirts? I was like, no, you guys are good.
This would
One's
make it
in a
10
white
times
shirt,
harder.
one's in green. They'll make our lives a lot easier.
Yeah.
I've always wanted twins, though. I think it would be fun. I've always wanted a twin as well, but I don't have one. I feel like they can read their minds.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's geneticism behind it, but does it run in your family? Do you have
no?
No. Yeah, I don't know anybody who has twins. I don't think. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I was like, I don't think there's anybody in my family that's.
But twins. People come to Twinsburg for this fest from Nigeria, Brazil, Australia, and Japan. So they come from all over the world.
Now, where is this in Ohio?
It's in Northeast Ohio. So.
So.
Kind of outside of Cleveland, roughly.
Yeah. Everything Northeast Ohio is relative to Cleveland.
So funny. I'm gonna pull it up on a map.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
So I want to see where it is with that, in comparison to Akron.
Huh.
Twinsburg.
I mean, I'm sure it's got to be kind of a fun festival.
Yeah, there's just twins everywhere.
Yeah.
How bizarre. Okay, how bizarre. That's a song.
It is.
Okay, yeah, right outside Cuyahoga Valley National Park.
No.
So, yeah.
Who did that song?
Outside Sugar and Falls. So, yeah, kind of in the Cleveland area. Right up northeast of Akron.
Oh.
North of Kent.
The more you know.
South of Cleveland. So there you go. All right, Collin. Well, it's been a good Monday so far.
It has been. So, yeah, it's a great day to be lazy on, what is it, Lazy Day? National Lazy Day.
National Lazy Day.
Yeah, it's going to rain, so take advantage of that.
Enjoy it.
Yeah.
Well, that does it for us on this Monday morning. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 9 a.m.